What's up, Shady Sports? I'm back here with another special interview. Mr. Todd, Tyron, Commissioner of the IFL. How you doing today?
Krish, I'm doing great. I appreciate the invite.
No problem. So, let's get right into it. So, what tonight the IFL is launching a red zone style broadcast. How are you feeling about it? Are you excited?
I am. We've been working on this since the beginning of the season, and we thought wait till the middle of the season to launch it to kind of build momentum throughout the season with some different announcements that we had just to kind of keep that going into our championship game. And so we're launching it tonight when we've got 6 games going on. It's a good problem to have a league that's got 6 games going on at the same time. And so we thought, it was great for us. It was great for the fans to figure out how to pull this all together so we can have a red zone style, Manning cast style presentation for you.
Yeah, so I'm really excited because I love red zone, and being able to watch all the games at once is going to be really, really helpful because usually I'm on my computer, my phone, and my TV trying to catch up to all of them. But so the big question I got to ask you is about expansion overall. What can you tell us about the current state of IFL expansion for the next maybe 2 years?
It's strong. Our expansion is strong, and we continue. I feel, I would say 2 to 3 inquiries a week, and you've got to sort through that. I mean, we're to a point with our league where we're taking no risks. We're taking no chances. I mean, you've got to check every single box that we have out there, and then you still got to present in front of our full board. And so, when you get to a position where you've got 14 teams, you can start to be a little choosy and picky, and we'll probably grow at a slower growth. But that's okay. The goal is to get to 24 teams, and we're going to grow for 24. We're going to grow for 25, and we'll strategically make our announcements at the right time.
For sure. No, I mean, I think for all 14 teams, they have really strong ownership groups, and they're all, like other leagues, some of the ownership groups are, they have their issues. But in the IFL, I don't really see any issues with any of the ownership groups, to be honest.
We've got 15 years of making mistakes, and so that's the advantage of being around 15 years is you've taken some risks and made some mistakes, and you learn from that, and you grow from that, and you get better from that. And right now we're seeing an example of a really strong league that has learned from a lot of its mistakes. And I mean, hey, we're going to make some as we continue to move forward, but they're going to be less riskier decisions. And we're going to be able to. There's other areas, and you guys are seeing it, that we're able to play with because our league's strong and it's going to get stronger.
For sure. So going back to your coaching days, you started as a coach actually. So what was your favorite coaching memory? And now when you look at the game through a strategy wise, what do you think about the state of the coaching in the Indo Football League?
I actually started as a player. I played for 5 years. I coached for 4, and then I bought the team. And so to answer your question, my best coaching memory, I coached underneath Coach Riggs. And, I ran some business. I had started some businesses and had some kids. And so probably my funniest coaching memory was I had a buddy who had a little plane. And me and a couple coaches would always fly to this to the games, and there was multiple times where we got caught up in some weather and some bad weather, and the best memory was we were coming back from Rockford, Illinois, and we got stranded one night, and we actually had to sleep in like the hangar area, and woke up the next day and hopped in the plane and shut the door, and we started going and kept hearing a loud clank, and my seatbelt was off, and it was clanking against the side of the plane the entire way back. And so to this day, I got some buddies that crack on me for that.
That's awesome. But you talk about about being a dad, being a business owner. I see you run your own gym. How do you manage all that?
I'm out of the gym business now. I mean, it was a phase of my life, and my kids are now what are we freshman, sophomore, and going to be senior. And like anything in life, you figure out how to manage and maintain, and you take each day as it comes at you. And there's no secret to it. At the end of the day, you just want to do what's right, for your family and your business. And So right now it's all IFL. I mean, that's our focus. We're growing. My job's to serve these owners, and I got some great owners to serve.
For sure. So we see that you added Tulsa this past off season, and you see the success they had. They have honestly one of the best fan bases in the league. How do you think they've been able to do that in their first year?
I think you're seeing a concept that's developing with these hockey teams. They're actually our third hockey team. We have the Vegas, the Nighthawks, who have the Golden Knights as kind of their infrastructure. You've got the Dallas Stars that partner with the Frisco Fighters as their infrastructure, and now you've got the Tulsa Oilers, who's in the ECHL. They're able to use their hockey infrastructure and add football to it. And so, and we're starting to see that with our expansion. You're going to see a lot more of that. But they've been able to do it because they've already developed the relationships. They've got the season ticket base. They've got the sponsorship base. Now they're just adding football to their portfolio with how they're doing it. And, Andy Skirto, who's the owner, and Taylor Hall, who's the GM, outstanding people. They know what they're doing, and they're going to continue to grow that franchise in the right direction.
Definitely. I see them having longevity of success, with what they got down there. So do you fly out to a different city each week, or how do you decide what game you go to?
I don't like being in an arena where there's multiple other games going on. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on, and I'm the point of contact for about everything. And then, I hate sitting, tonight you've got Quad City at Massachusetts, a huge game. I don't like sitting in the arena, getting a phone call, dealing with a problem, and I didn't see it. I don't know what's going on. And so, I'll travel early because we've got a team here in Sioux Falls. I'll go to some of their games. I'll travel late, and then obviously where everything's building up to that championship game. But, I just enjoy a lot like you. I'll put the games on about every screen that I got. And, now we've got our Inside the IFL Live concept that maybe I don't have to have as many tabs open. But, that's where I do the best business, in my opinion, is being able to see everything that's going on in real time and being able to be in a good place to address any issues.
Without getting too much into detail, what are some issues that come up during the game that you might have to deal with?
There's officiating situations. A lot of it is pregame. One of the things that, you guys sit here and see the stream that goes on, and, a lot of people think I sit here and control the stream. I don't. It's inside the arena that we're sitting here dealing with. And, we got to make sure that the production is good, the Wi-Fi is good, the volume is good, and then we eventually get that signal, and we're the ones that are pushing that out to people. But a lot of my issues deal with the streaming side and the broadcast side. Sometimes you've got issues where you've got player issues, a kicker gets hurt, or, you had a pregame fight, or, there's certain, we've really tightened up the presentation of the players. If they're not looking a certain way, they're not allowed on the field, and sometimes that causes issues. And so it just seems like every weekend you don't really know what type of fire you're gonna get. But you got to put that thing out quick, or it grows into a bigger problem. And so just from week to week, it's always something different.
Definitely. No, pre-game fights, they happen a lot, and it sometimes can be difficult to separate them. But do you decide like suspensions and stuff like that? Are you like in charge of determining how long a player is suspended for?
I do. I handle all the compliance side. If somebody happens to challenge the compliance, then it goes to a compliance committee. But yeah, I'm always the one that I put in the first ruling, and a lot of it is already stated in our operations manual that if you violate A, B, C, D, whatever it is, this is the punishment. My job's to implement that, and if somebody challenges it, then it goes through that process.
I had some people ask me. So there was a situation with one of the teams last weekend, where a head coach and defensive coordinator both got ejected from the game. Are they both suspended, or is that only for players?
So even players, it's got to be a pretty dramatic situation to be suspended than the next game. If they're, touching an official, or they're throwing a legit punch or something like that, we'll look into the next game. But in my opinion, to get suspended from the current game you're in, that's a big enough consequence. I mean, usually they're losing a game check through that process. They're going through the embarrassment of getting ejected. And I, with our limited rosters and, such a short season, it's got to be a pretty dramatic situation for me then to suspend you the next game also.
For sure. So kind of fast forwarding at this point, you run your own show called Inside the IFL every Monday night, sometimes Tuesdays. Are you familiar with broadcasting? And have you been in that field before? Like, have you done radio? Because you seem pretty experienced.
No, I got no expertise. I've been learning on the fly. I found the same format. I use StreamYard is what I did. And it's just one of those things, during COVID, we all learned new skills. We're all stuck at home. What can we do to get better? And that was one of the things that, I chose to learn is, hey, let's start a show. I mean, I know not many people watch it at first, but hopefully it grows and you start making announcements from that. And eventually, it can grow into something, pretty cool. And it's a lot like what you guys are doing here. It's just something that, through COVID, learned a new skill set and learn how to use it. And, that's, you guys are seeing it on Monday nights.
So recently the IFL added sports betting as part of their repertoire. What are your thoughts about sports betting as a whole? I love sports betting. I don't bet. I'm not of age, but still, I love the idea, and I think it's really, really good for the game. So,
it's what people want. Is they want sports betting. They want to, how can I engage into this game? I'm not necessarily skilled enough or my age isn't quite right to be playing in the game. How can I still be a part of it? And that's really what sports betting is about, is it allows you to, pick a side and truly cheer for it. And, by us partnering with Simple Bet, the end goal or the end product is going to be your ability to sit here and bet every single play. It's almost like a slot machine. You sit here and for pennies, you're sitting there, keep pulling the slot. This is the same thing as every single play. You got the opportunity to be engaged and be involved. And it's going to bring in, my job is not only to satisfy the current fan, but bring in new ones. And, you're seeing it here with the Red Zone. You're going to be seeing it here with the betting side of things. And we will continue to grow on how do we grow the league? We got to attract new people. You attract new people in ways that people, want to interact. And this is just one of them.
For sure. And like, this is something I heard from players too across the league. It's like they feel like they're given everything they need to succeed. They have all the housing accommodations, they're given great food, the community rallies around them. And I think that's what's really important. Sports betting adds another aspect of that. Are people obviously inside the organization are not allowed to bet on their team or on other teams? How are you monitoring that and making sure that, people are not doing that?
Well, there's two ways we do it. Is we partnered with a company called US Integrity, and that is their job. I've got a dashboard that right now I can sit here and type your name in and see if you wagered on any games tonight. And so we have the ability to sit here and monitor that stuff. And is there ways around it? Of course, there's ways around everything, but everything in dark comes to light at some point. I think you see that, right now in mainstream, there's people getting, tripped up and getting caught. We've got a legit partner in US Integrity. They're one of the most recognizable brands in the betting industry. And we've got the ability to monitor if we see anything, weird happening, or we see excess action coming in on one side or the other. We can sit here and do our due diligence to figure out, if we've got people on the inside involved.
For sure, yeah. Unlike the NBA, you're not trying to rig the conference finals. But
is that what's happening?
I think
you're
so.
a Celtics fan, aren't you?
Yeah, so I hope that happens.
Jimmy Butler.
He's crazy. I think Michael Jordan 2.0 in the playoffs.
He's showing something. He's been fun to watch.
But so tonight you guys have a ton of games. I think you have 6 teams in action tonight. Two teams, one game tomorrow. So this Red Zone that you're launching, are you going to be in the studio? Because I assume it's in South Dakota. North Dakota, actually.
It's actually being broadcast in North Dakota. One of the partners, the team that, or the ownership group that owns Bismarck, owns the production company called Beck Sports. And this is what they do. And so, they're the ones that have put the production together and the broadcast together. And at some point I'll be in studio for this first one. As I say, I just assume be in the comfort of my own home and have my screens going. And I'm obviously available, to hop in like this. But yeah, at some point, I mean, each week it's going to get better. You guys are going to tune in tonight. I'm sure we're going to have issues. There's going to be a handful of things we're like, yeah, let's scrap that. Let's add this. And the end product is what's really going to be cool. And you guys got a chance to see it grow as we go through that process.
So the big news is obviously the elephant in the room is the AFL is supposedly, I mean, I don't think so, but they're supposedly returning with 16 teams, next year, 10 games. What are your thoughts about that? And how, I don't think that affects teams in the IFL at all, but what do you think?
Every year you've got somebody coming and saying they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And, it's tough enough to get one or two new teams going with an established league, let alone sit here and act like you're going to launch 16. I was always taught through business, when all the hype settles, how good your product and how good your leadership. And, that stuff always comes to light here at some point. We feel that the indoor football league, the product is exciting. It's very relatable to outside, but you do it with inside. We don't got a bunch of gimmicky rules with inside of what we do. And to be honest, Krish, it's, my job to put my head down and focus on building this league, make us as attractive as we want to be. If there's anything I could say to anybody that's listening, if you're looking at different leagues, I mean, come check out the indoor football league. If you're quality ownership group and you're in the right demographic, we'd love to have you because our products go in the direction we want it to go.
Oh yeah, I think the indoor football league, like the games are so exciting to watch. I tell this to a lot of people, like the indoor football league is better to watch than the USFL. I mean, the product and being there and being in the stadium and being so close to the guys. I like indoor football because it's a lot like outdoor football. When it's the rules are more relatable and you feel like you're watching an outdoor game. So I guess now going forward into 2024, or I guess this year for the championship game, you partner with CBS Sports Network, which is a big time partnership. I was really happy about that. When can we expect in the press release? It said that some of the games can be streamed. Like if they're a bigger game, you have the option to be able to stream it on CBS Sports Network. When can we see the first CBS Sports Network game?
We're starting the national championship game this year will be our first CBS Sports. Our goal this year is to continue to build our identity, partner with some national brands, and come next year, you'll probably see a little bit more of the CBS Sports deal. By the third year, the goal is a game a week, is really what we'd like to get to. And, so we left the agreement very flexible in our favor to where there's a minimum of each championship game and there's a maximum of every week if that's what we choose to do. And, this is a partnership that CBS Sports wanted just as much as we did. And so it's not like, we made the mistakes of other leagues where you got to sit here and go write a big check and figure out how to cover it. No, this was a partnership that was very economically affordable on both sides. And, it's something that come next year in this offseason, we will continue to build that relationship. And we would say at some point, the end goal is a game a week. And, I feel pretty comfortable we can get to that. But, that whole demographic is changing. When you sit here and look at cable and streaming and all that types of stuff. And so we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into a corner if we didn't have to. And so that's why it's a great partnership.
Definitely. So going into obviously next year, you currently stand at 14 teams. You said you get 2 to 3 inquiries a week. What are some things you look at besides a good ownership group? Do you have arena requirements for the IFL?
We do. There's 4 things we look for. We look for obviously the quality of the owner, making sure that they are who they say they are, and they've got the financial capabilities for a 3 to 5 year business plan. And then we look at demographic location, geographical location. You've got Worcester, Massachusetts out there, and they're kind of on an island, and Arizona Rattlers were on an island in 2017, and we've seen how that area has developed, and that's what we're trying to do now is build a bridge to Worcester. So it's not such a tough destination for people to get to, and them having to travel so much. So demographic locations is a big deal. Your arena is a big deal. Making sure it's a quality arena. You're not playing in some convention center. It's got to, fit our presentation on what we're trying to do. And then the fourth thing is operator. Who's operating the team? Because that's a big deal. We don't want an ownership group to just sit here and blow through a bunch of money because we know they won't be here long. So you got to make sure that they've got the right operators in there. They've got the right coaching in there. You mentioned earlier about, coaching. I think if you look across the board, we've got some of the best coaches in the industry, if not the best in the industry. And as we continue to grow as a league, we got to make sure that we are attracting the best coaches out there, because new teams, for them to succeed is they need to have a good operator that hires a good coach.
Yeah, so you look around the league, like you said, coaches are really good. But then, the players, too. You got Darius Geis up in Vegas, who's a big, well-known NFL name. You obviously got all the guys on the Pirates who are well-known college football names, too. What does it mean to have a player of Darius Geis' stature in the Indoor Football League?
What I'm excited about is whether you're a D1 stud, or you're a D3 kid, or you're a first or second round NFL player. At the end of the day, we're a platform for you to advance your life. And we don't hide behind it. You don't make much sitting here playing in the indoor football league, and that's not the goal. We'll house you, we'll feed you, we provide your medical, give you a little kick around money, but really what we're doing is providing a platform for you to be seen, to advance your life, whether that's on or off the field. And so, we'll continue to attract the talent as long as they're not coming here for money, because that's not what we're about. We're about opportunity, and an opportunity to play for quality organizations, get yourself seen, network yourself, get your name out there, continue to stay relevant. As opposed to sitting at home on the couch talking about how good you used to be.
Honestly, that's like you had on one of your Inside the IFL shows, you had a former player who is actually a police officer in his community. And I think that says a lot. Guys can obviously network and find jobs within their community, and they're able to grow their brand within inside their city. So my final couple of questions for you is: you're a small business owner yourself. You run a couple of businesses on the side. What do those businesses entail, and what type of work goes into building a business?
I would say right now I'm not necessarily vested into the business side. I'm full-time IFL. My wife and I have always been involved in like some network style businesses, and we still are. And, it's always been in the health and wellness industry. And, we still, do a little bit with that. But to be honest, this industry, what I learned in business is you put your head down and work until the job's done, whether that's 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, 5 years. And, we've got a goal to build this league to 24 teams. And, I put my head down, and that's what I'm working on until we get there. And at some point, you'll probably look up and look around and high five some people for your job. But, that's kind of where my focus is right now, Krish, is continue to build this league.
So as a future team owner myself, a lot of questions I got was, do you see the IFL going to different countries eventually?
Well, maybe that are bordering the U.S., yes. I can see us touching into Canada a little bit. Mexico, that's the southern border. I don't want to touch that right now. But the northern border is a little more attractive for us. And once again, when you look at geographical locations, the northern border kind of fits your Green Bay. It fits some of our future expansion. It fits Massachusetts. But I don't see, going over the pond by any means at this point, because there's too much work to be done here in the U.S. And, that's kind of where the focus is.
For sure. So, Commissioner, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your, busy schedule to come on the show today. My final question for you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years and the IFL in 5 years?
Personally, in 5 years, my kids will all be out of the house. So my wife and I will be in a different phase, and it's really hard to sit here and think about that. But you got to think about that. So family wise, we've got a 5-year family plan that we're prepping for. The IFL, it's something that it's been around 15 years, and man, we've come a long way the last 2, 3, 4 years. And my head is really focused on the next 3 years. To be honest, I haven't quite looked at this league 5 years from now. The goal is to get 24 teams here in the next 3 years, and 24 legit teams. I mean, I think it would be pretty easy for us to lower our standards and get to 24. I mean, we could probably do it this next year, but we're here for longevity. We're here to build it the right way. So we're here for the long haul. And so really it's just a 3-year plan, and my head's down. And, you guys tonight tune into our IFL Live, because that's something that we've got some cool things we're going to spin off of that. And, it just continue to get our product out there to attract new people, because that's ultimately what will grow the league.
Definitely. So I want to appreciate you for coming on the show today. I can't wait to see the IFL grow. I'll be a lifelong IFL fan. And I hope, obviously we expand closer to Massachusetts. But in the meantime, I don't mind checking out other cities in the United States. So appreciate your time, and let's go IFL.
Krish, you do a great job. Appreciate you covering the league. Sorry about your Celtics. Go Jimmy Butler. No, I'm just kidding you, man. But thank you. I appreciate all the effort that you put into covering these leagues.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
This is Brett, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. Tune in, hit that like button.
You might wonder, what do these guys do? Player signing announcements. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today.
Yeah, man. I just had a workout with the Cincinnati Bengals. Signing me right out.
Without further ado, I'd like to announce that, I'll be taking my talents to Salina Liberty.
This just in. The Major League of Football is reportedly collapsing, unable to pay hotel room bills, with players being kicked out of their rooms and hotel managers asking them to leave voluntarily without issue.
And then we got Lions wide receiver Williams is debuting this week as a starter. That's something to look at as far as the eye test goes. And then another one on the eye test is Mostert might be coming back to Miami. And we can see if he has a role in this offense and see if he can be viable for the next couple weeks coming and help us in the playoffs and possibly towards a championship. That would be very nice, because he's sitting on my bench right now.